How you doing? My name is Kip Charles, your sales guru. I'm here again today just to talk to you a little bit about the hearings that happened today. There was a couple of things that happened that, I could say I was a little disappointed in. I thought that Paulson was evasive. I really don't believe that he shared with Main Street, so to speak, how they're going to be affected by what they're doing, outside of saying if we don't do something, America will be affected, and kind of giving us a very vague response so that we should all be afraid if they don't receive the $700 billion. There was a couple things that I wrote down. The fact that he didn't want to accept tranches. You know what? The problem that we had was because people were not regulated properly. There was no proper oversight. So now we need to immediately react and provide them with an additional $700 billion and not provide the proper oversight or the proper accountability. If I give, if America gives the government a $700 billion line of credit, psychologically speaking, it should accomplish the same thing. If as if giving them the $700 billion and saying do whatever you want. We're saying here's a $700 billion line of credit. You get the first 150 million. We want to see how well you do with that. We want to see how responsible you're going to be. Are you going to be able to turn the situation around? Are you going to be able to take some of that bad debt and turn it into good debt? Are you going to hire the proper asset managers and experts to really turn this around and make something good come out of it? For them not to want that, it concerns me. What is the reason why they need the $700 billion in advance? Are they saying psychologically that will be different than us giving them a line of credit with a cap of 150 billion to use for the first 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, and then another 150 billion as needed, as long as we are progressing in the right direction? I don't understand that. So he would literally need to have to explain that to me. Also, when he was asked, "Hey, how is this going to help, Main Street?" What he basically said was, "Listen, it's going to free up credit, and by freeing up credit, it allows businesses to access money." But again, for the average American, I don't understand why they don't bring it home by saying, "Listen, by freeing up credit, somehow it is going to assist homeowners who are in danger of foreclosure and are in foreclosure. Somehow it's going to help them to benefit by allowing them to be able to stay in their homes." How is it going to do that? They're just not addressing the issues that the average American is concerned about. Um, and I think the reason why they really don't know how to talk to us is because I think I heard that Mr. Paulson has over 500 million dollars in stock at Goldman, or he's worth over $500 million. I really believe these guys are out of touch with the average American. They don't know how to speak to us anymore. The whole golden parachute thing. The average American doesn't know what a golden parachute is. I had to immediately try to do some research or listen carefully to find out what that means. Why not say, listen, why instead of calling it a golden parachute, why not say, listen, we intend on compensating some of the guys at the top when we fire them. What because the average American doesn't know what a golden parachute is. So, they're really speaking over our heads. It's very disappointing. And at the end of the day, what I really would like to see happen, and I'm repeating it again, the solution to this problem lies in, yes, freeing up the banks, taking all of this debt, releasing them of the debt, giving them the liquidity that they need, so that they can then begin to release funds more freely. But you must address Main Street. And how do you address Main Street? by tackling the one thing that has caused the problem. The housing market has tanked. People are paying out more money in mortgages than their house is worth. So this would be what I would request. If we're going to loan the banks, or if we're going to buy this bad debt from the banks, then the banks in turn need to remodify the mortgages of people who are paying mortgages out on homes that no longer are worth what they're paying out. What will this do? This will lower their monthly payments, making it easier for them, right, to stay in their homes because now they don't have to pay out as much, and it will give them more disposable income to inject into the economy. Then they can put together a package that will go out to people who don't own homes, right? And those people will receive certain funds that will allow them to spend money. When we start spending money, businesses start hiring, and the economy in turn will strengthen. I have not heard a specific solution that speaks to the average American. I've given my solution. I've yet to hear someone. I've heard broad, um, broad, I would say, solutions, which is we have to think about Main Street. We have to think about the average American. But I haven't heard anyone give a solution. This is what and how the average American is going to actually benefit and help us to get a visual of how it's going to make my life easier when you start taking my tax dollar and bailing out some of these large companies and some of these fat cats, people who are living lovely in big mansions. And that's the way the American people are envisioning this. So if you say, hey, listen, let's bail out these people, but at the same time, here's how you're going to benefit, and make it more, direct and more specific to how Americans will benefit. I think people will be a lot more open to the concept. This is Kip Charles, your sales guru. This is just a follow up on the credit crisis, and my opinion of the situation in regards to what happened today and how they could solve the problem. I really wish that we could get the word out there about how to solve the problem. I haven't heard it yet, and maybe I'm wrong, but I wish someone would tell me that by remodifying the homes, that's not going to solve the problem. That by putting an extra, putting 50% more money in the pockets of Americans who are paying out these mortgages is not going to solve the problem. And by buying this debt and having brilliant asset managers take it and turn it into something profitable is not going to solve the problem. Someone address this issue for me. I'd really appreciate it. This is Kip Charles again, your sales guru, and I hope that we can fix this problem so that everyone can benefit and so that there is clarity and transparency. This is Kip Charles. God bless America.